So in the last previous sessions, we had discussed about the fixed beams and what are the how to do an analysis for fixed beam when it is subject to different type of loading. I had only given you one of the example that if there is a concentrated load at the center, what will be the values of end moments. Then in the previous class, I had also derived an equation. I had explained you the importance of that equation. I hope all of you remember this. That if this is a propped cantilever, okay, I didn't record this video previously, so that's why I'm sorry. I'm explaining it again. So I'll briefly discuss what all things that we discussed in the previous class. First, we determine how much is the moment required to create the unit rotation over here. Okay, this is assume this as theta A. Okay, this is an ARB end. So we have solved this equation and we got to know how much is the moment required to create unit rotation. Okay, a unit rotation. So how much it was? 4 EI divided by L. I explained you the significance of this moment. This basically this value explains you the stiffness of a given beam. Okay. So other than that, I have told you to determine or to find out from any textbook or a Google the end moments of fixed beam with respect to different loading conditions. I don't know how many of you found out it, but if you do not have it, don't worry. I have sent you a image in your Google Classroom. I hope you all have downloaded. So in that you will find out with respect to different kind of loadings. Okay, like if this point load at center, which is by 2 distance from the left or the right. Okay, was by 8. Right. So this is also WL by 8. This I call it as MAB. This is MBA. These are the values that we have arrived. Okay. And similarly, for different type of loading conditions, I have given you the formulas or the end moment values. I give an example of another condition, which is a fixed beam subjected to UDL. Okay. So assuming this to be L, this is A, this is B. In this case, we will determine how much will be the fixed end moments. Okay. So this will be W L square by 12. Let me just give you a brief understanding. In your syllabus, there is no need to explain you how to calculate this end moment values for fixed beam. Okay, that's why I told you this is a transition portion, which is not given in your syllabus. You have studied all the structures with respect to determinate in nature, and you will be studying all the structures which are indeterminate in nature. But in middle, we had fixed beams for which you haven't studied in your previous semester, or you will not be. There is no scope to study in this semester also because it is not there in the syllabus. But still, in the first 2 classes, I tried to explain the same thing. Okay, I tried to explain you how to calculate the end moments for fixed beam in one of the condition of loading. Okay, you can do similar for the rest of the also. I will give you this as your classwork, or you can consider this as your assignment also. I will give you the hint how to solve this. Previously, I solved it, and I will give you the hint also. You try to solve the end moments for fixed beam. Okay, let me consider this as W Newton per meter. This is the loading we have. Okay, and now I'll just make a quick analysis of this, and I want you to determine these values, the values of MAB and MBA. Okay? This is my importance. Okay, what you do is that you take this beam. Okay, now you apply the load, which is UDL. Okay, then you try to understand what is a free body diagram. So this will be a free body diagram. This will be MAB. This is A, this is B, this is MBA. This is, let me call this as VA. We have previously called this as VA only. So now we'll call VA and VB. Okay, so this is your free body diagram. According to the free body diagram, you will calculate how much is your SI. SI means what? Static indeterminacy. Okay, I'm calling it as SI. You can call anything you want. So this is static indeterminacy. So we have 4 reactions minus of 2 equilibrium equations, which are summation of all vertical force equal to 0 and summation of all the moments at any point, at any end will be equal to 0. can use these two equilibrium equations. 4 minus 2, I'll get to know how much is my starting intensity, which is 2. If I get this as 2, you need to release two of the reactions, right? So you can release whichever you want. Earlier I had released VB and MBA. You can also release these two, or you can release this also. There is no hard and fast rule to release only this joint. Okay. But anyway, we will continue with the same methodology with how we solved previously. So I'll release these two. If I release these two, what I should do? I have to apply them as forces. Okay. So I have to apply VB as force. Then I have to apply moment as a force. Okay. So this is moment reaction. This is a vertical reaction which I applied them as forces. And over that, what you do is that you will apply UDL. Okay. Now there are three types of forces which are acting on a cantilever beam, and what you do is that you will apply individually the UDL for first. In the first case, what you do is that you simply apply UDL and you find out how much is the theta and deflection. Then in the second case, what you do is that you will apply only reaction. In the third case, you can apply only for moment. Okay. At the end, what you can do is that you can use the compatibility equation, which is theta b is equals to 0 and delta b is equals to 0. Right. So you will find out theta. Let me call this as theta b w. This will be theta b v. This will be theta b young. Theta is representing the slope, and b is representing the point where you are calculating the slope. W is representing with respect to the load, the slope you are calculating to mind, and this is the theta which you are calculating with respect to the vertical reaction. This is the theta which you are calculated at B with respect to moment. Similarly, you can calculate how much is delta values, which is deflection. So, theta Bm. Okay. So once you did solve this, okay, using your conjugate beam method, you can use this compatibility equation. What is that? Theta b should be equal to 0 and it will be equal to, what is that value? Sum of all of this. So the theta b w plus of theta b young plus of theta bv. Okay. Similarly, you can also write for delta b. So by solving these two equations, you will find out how much is VB and MBA. So once you determine MBA and VB, you can actually calculate VA and MBA. Okay. How this is basically clear. This is how we can solve all the fixed beam with different set of loadings. Okay. You can solve for 2-point load, 3-point loads. You can solve for couple that is applied at the center or eccentric. You can solve anything you want. Okay. So I will give you one more formula. Anyway, I have given all the details in the picture that I sent you in the classroom. Okay. So no need to worry for that. Let me give you another formula of fixed beam with eccentric loading. Okay, with eccentric loading. Assume that this is a fixed beam. It is applied somewhere here. This portion I will call it as A. This length I will call it as A, and this length I will call it as B. Okay, so this is the load being applied. This is your A. This is your B point. Okay, this total length will be equals to L. Okay, in this case, okay, now see here, these are two arbitrary values. Okay, as I shift W, the value of A and B will change. Okay, so this W is not specific at any point. Like for example, in the previous case, W was exactly at a distance of L by 2, half the length from A or B. Right, it was specific point. It won't alter its position. But in this case, what happens is A and B are arbitrary values whose values can be changed. It means what? You can alter the W values, but still the end moments equation or the formula for end moments will remain same. The formula is like this. Okay. This will call it as MAP. We will call this as MBA. Okay. And this value will be equals to W B square into A divided by L square. Okay. So in this case, it will be W A square into B divided by L square. This will be the value. So by using these two formulas, we could be able to calculate how much is the end moments here. Okay. Now assume that this is W is some 10 kilonewton, A is 4 and this B is 3, and substituting the value of W, B and A, and length will be equal to 7 meter. You substitute all the values and you find out how much is MAB, and similarly substituting that value you will get to know how much is MBA. Okay, till now whatever we have discussed is not at all part of your syllabus. Okay, from now onwards whatever I speak is strictly related to your syllabus. Okay, anyhow, coming back to this. Okay, basically this value, moment value, which is 4 EI per L, is representing the stiffness of any given beam. So I will not keep it as theta A equal to 1. I will keep it as theta A itself. So if I keep it as theta A itself, now this value of M will be equals to 4 EI into theta A divided by L. But I told you previously what the stiffness is. Stiffness is basically the amount of movement that is required to create unit rotation. Okay, so that is what stiffness is. Now this, right now this is not representing the stiffness. Okay, this is representing the moment which is required to create a slope of theta A. Okay, anyhow, so we'll begin with our syllabus. This chapter we call it as slope deflection equations. Okay. The subject, this topic or this module that we're going to discuss is called as slope deflection equation. So what we are doing in this chapter is that we are using the values of slope and deflection. We are creating number of equations, and if we solve that equation, we can be able to solve any kind of structure. Okay. Before we reach there, I'll give you some set of structures, and for that structure, you try to determine what will be the value of what are the values of kinematic and static indeterminacy. Okay, so once you understand that, once you have clearly understood how to solve the static indeterminacy and kinematic indeterminacy, we can solve several further problems. Okay, so I'll take quickly I'll give you 5 minutes. You try to solve it in your notebook. Okay, some basic structures. I won't be giving some complex structures for you to analyze it. Okay, you tell me what will be the static indeterminacy of these structures. Okay, solve this. You solve this and keep it with you. I'll give you 5 minutes time. Within that time, you try to solve all of these four structures. You tell me what is static indeterminacy of this. Okay. To calculate the SI value, which is static indeterminacy, what I should do is that I need to find out how many reactions are there. Okay, so you take down the first structure and you try to find out what is the free body diagram for that. So to draw the free body diagram, you must be able to understand how many reactions will be generated at each joint or at each support. Okay, let me take this first support, which is I call this as A, this is B, and this is C. Okay, I'll explain the first structure. You can solve it for the second structure. Okay, all of you write down this, and you can solve it at your home later. Okay. Now in the third, this I'll solve for third structure. You solve it for fourth structure. Okay. And we'll start from here. This is the first structure. At joint A, I have fixed support. If there is fixed support, basically two reactions will be generated. Okay. Three reactions will be generated. Don't worry about that. I'll solve for both the conditions. Okay. Why 3 and why I'm considering only 2 also. Okay. First, let me consider all the 3. So what are the 3 reactions that will be generated at the fixed end? One is VA, HA, then we have MA. First vertical reaction, horizontal reaction, then we have moment reaction. Okay. At B end, we'll have VB, only vertical reaction, nothing else. Okay. At this joint, we'll have VC, HC, and MC. So how many total reactions are there? 6 plus 1, which is equals to 7. So SI is equal to 7 minus of how many equilibrium equations we have in this condition. As I have considered HA and HC, I'll have 3 equations now. So 7 minus 3, you will get to know how many static indeterminacies are there, which is equals to 4, right? So this is one of the method. Okay, where I consider all the 3 equilibrium equations. Now I will tell you why I have considered all the 3 equilibrium equations. Now see, if this structure is subjected to only vertical loading. Okay, if it is subjected to only vertical loading, then there is no way we can consider the horizontal reaction. There will be horizontal reactions will be equal to zero. So immediately sigma h will be equal to zero, and that equilibrium equation will also get eliminated. So in that case, we'll be considering only two equilibrium equations. Now, if I consider there is an inclined reaction like this, I hope all of you have saw it in your previous semester, in your first years of engineering mechanics. There you would have saw inclined forces, right? Inclined forces. So these inclined forces may have two components. Okay, one is vertical component, one is horizontal component. So this inclined force can create the horizontal reaction, and it also creates the vertical reaction, right? So only in case of inclined force or horizontal force, the horizontal reactions will be created. Okay, so in most of the problems that we solve, it doesn't have a horizontal force. If there is no horizontal force, so there is no need to consider the horizontal reactions also. Okay, so immediately what will be the value of reactions? How many number of reactions we will have? So we will have two here and one here, which is equals to 5. Now, how many equilibrium equations is left over? I cannot consider sigma h equal to 0 because there is no horizontal force or inclined force. So if there is no inclined force, no horizontal reactions. No horizontal reaction means I should eliminate the sigma h equal to 0. Now only two equations will be left over. Two equilibrium equations will be left over. One is summation of all vertical force equal to 0 and summation of moment equal to 0. Now how much is SI here? SI equal to 3. Static indeterminacy for this structure considering only vertical force will be equal to 3. Okay, I hope there is no doubt in solving this. Okay, once you have understood, definitely go for calculating the kinematic indeterminacy. So to understand the kinematic indeterminacy, we'll go back again to the joints. At this joint, it is fixed. If it is fixed, both delta and theta value will be equal to 0. And now it is determined. We know how much will be the slope value and how much will be the constant. So it is 0, 0. Now we'll go to C joint. Okay. So in C joint, we know that the value of theta and delta is equals to 0, right? Again, we'll come back to B joint. Now, at the B joint, it is not fixed condition. It is not fixed condition. And like for example, if I had to draw the curve here, it will be somewhat like this. So definitely there is a rotation at this joint, okay, which we can call it as theta B. Okay, so that's why my Ki value, kinematic indeterminacy value, will be equals to 1. Okay, I hope this is very clear. Okay. No doubt in this? Okay. Next what we'll do is I'll take this third structure. This structure I'll take. Let me consider this. Okay. I'll try to determine the equilibrium equations. Then I'll try to determine my reactions. Okay. Here, assuming that there is a horizontal force and also a vertical force. Now you see how many reactions will be created here. We have horizontal force here. So because of that, 3 reactions will be generated. Okay, like this, assuming. So this is, I'll call it as A, B, C, let me call this as D. So VA, HA, MA. Okay, 3 reactions here, and VB, HB, and MB. 3 reactions here. Total, how many reactions we will have? 6 reactions. And now, shall I consider HA is equals to 0? I should consider, because you have a horizontal force here. Because of this horizontal force, horizontal reactions will be generated. So henceforth, I will consider 3 equilibrium equation. In this case, now it will be equals to 6 minus 3. How much? 3 will be your static indeterminacy. Okay. So we know how much is static indeterminacy. Let us determine how much is our kinematic indeterminacy, Ki value. Okay, Ki value. Now, to determine the Ki value, again I will take the same structure. Okay, let us solve the kinematic indeterminacy. Okay, now we have horizontal force here. Okay, because of that there will be a sway. Sway means what? It will bend like this. Okay, so whenever it sways, the value of translation which is taking place will remain same. Whatever the value of translation that took place here will be the same translation that is going to take place on this side also. So definitely we have one translation value. So kinematic indeterminacy. So sorry, I'll write here. So kinematic indeterminacy, first one is one. One is the translation I have. Other than that, we will also have rotations here. Okay, like I'll show you an example here. This will rotate like this. Okay. So there will be a rotation here also. Okay. So we have delta, then we have theta A and theta B. Sorry, theta B, which is slope at B joint, and we'll have theta at slope at C. So total number of kinematic indeterminacy in this case will be equal to theta B plus theta C plus delta, which is equals to 3. So total kinematic indeterminacy is 3, total static indeterminacy is 3. Okay. I hope this is very much clear. I have solved the kinematic indeterminacy and static indeterminacy for two structures, for structure 1 and structure 3. You similarly try to determine what is the static indeterminacy of second, and you try to solve the static indeterminacy and kinematic indeterminacy for fourth structure. Okay. I hope you have written this. I'll give you 1 minute to write all of this. Please write it and tell me. Done. Okay, I'll try to explain one more time the kinematic indeterminacy for structure third. Okay, so what you need to do is that you try to physically understand what kind of translation and slope that will take place. Okay, you can do this experiment also. There are several videos on YouTube, graphical videos to explain you how this goes, but I'll try to explain you the deformation that can take place. Okay, assume that I have this frame. Okay, there is a analysis called sway analysis. When I go for sway analysis, I'll be explaining you in detail. Anyway, sway means what? Because this whatever this structure is there, this structure is connected by two columns and one beam, and you must be able to understand they are fixed only at the bottom. Like for example, they are not fixed at this point. They are not fixed at these two top points, at the column points. Okay. Now you try to imagine it like this. If I push it, if I apply some force here, so what will happen? This will translate like this. This will translate like this. But whenever it translates, okay, whenever it translates, because this member will not be subjected to compression or change in its length. Assume that this member will not change its length because of the application of force. So this entire beam, which was in this position, let me call this as B and this is C. This entire beam will get shifted like this by B dash and C dash, right? So if I apply horizontal force here, so what will happen? This will sway like this. This will sway and it will change its position. Okay. There is definitely a translation that has taken place in the horizontal direction, but the translation is remaining same at both point B and point C, because we are assuming that there is no change in length of this beam element. Okay, so whatever the length of BC was there, same is the length of B dash and C dash. So henceforth, whatever the deflection that has taken place is equals to delta and is equals to delta. This delta value will remain same. So delta is one of the translation. Okay, next I'll take the same number. Okay, assume that I have applied some moment here. Okay, if I apply moment here, how will it react? It will create a slope like this, and it will create a slope like this, right? So there will be slopes that will create it. The value of slopes for both, because the moment is remaining same, the value of slopes will be equal to same. We are assuming that it will remain same. Okay, so we'll call this as our theta A. Okay, similarly, we can apply moment over here also. So it will create a slope like this. Okay, slope like this. So we call this as theta B. So it means what? But can you create such kind of slope at A and D? No, we cannot create it because both are fixed condition. Here the theta value will be equal to 0, 0. But there exists a theta at B and there exists a theta at C. Now, total how many translations that are taking place and the slopes are there that are taking place? Two slopes are there or two rotations are there. Theta A plus of theta B plus of delta. So how many number of kinematic energy? 3. Okay. So I'll just quickly change this structure and I'll try to tell you how much will be the kinematic energy. Okay. You see this. Assume I'll erase this part. Okay. Anyway, I'll take the same structure. Okay. But I'll change the support condition. Here I'll keep it as fixed. Here I'll make it as hinged. Now you try to determine what will be the kinematic energy and static indeterminacy. Okay. First of all, definitely there will be a sway. For sway, like it will be somewhat like this. Assume somewhat like this. Okay. So definitely there is a delta. Then we have theta B. Then we have theta C. Now see here, this is your pin joint. If it is pin joint, what does it mean? There will be definitely a slope at this end also. But what will be the slope here? Slope here will be equal to 0 because it is fixed. So I'll call this as theta B. Okay. Now delta plus of theta A plus of theta B plus of theta C plus of theta D. Now total kinematic indeterminacy is equals to 4. Okay. Now similarly you try to determine what will be static indeterminacy. Static indeterminacy in this case we will have two reactions. We will have VD and HD. But what will be MD? MD is equal to 0. There is no moment here. Because it is a pin joint, there will be no moment reaction. But in this case, let me solve this part. Okay. How many reactions will be here? We will have MA, VA and HA. Okay. So 5 reactions are there. Okay. 5 reactions are there. If 5 reactions are there, how many equilibrium equations we can use here? 3 equations. See here. As we know that horizontal reactions are generated, that's why we can use summation of horizontal force also equal to 0. So now your static indeterminacy is 2, kinematic indeterminacy is 4. Okay. This is how you can basically understand the static indeterminacy and kinematic indeterminacies.